yeah, to kind of take it back,
Mhm.
we started out on Dubois AJ, and then
Yes,
we
circle
got
circle back to that.
thingied. What is there anything you think about that fight, or are you even going to watch the fight?
I'll probably watch it just because I mean it's a spectacle to see, and it's in Wembley, and it's a that's stadium or arena shows are always amazing.
Yeah.
Always fantastic. Um, but just from what I've seen, like AJ seems so much bigger, so much more talented. Like I don't. Is it really going to be competitive? I mean, like you're more in tune with the boxing
Mm,
world.
I actually, right. So to give you a perspective on why I think it will be very competitive, is AJ's last two opponents was Wallin and Ngannou, which essentially was on a Tyson Fury kind of, I'll show Fury what I can do against his opponent kind of thing.
Mm.
Wallin he's not the biggest well-known boxer. He's not like the most experienced boxer. The only thing of note he's ever done is go 12 rounds with Fury and arguably beat Fury. And then obviously Ngannou, it was his second ever boxing fight, and AJ made it look like his second ever boxing fight.
Mm.
So if you compare that to the journey Dubois has been on, which is his last four fights or five fights have been Joe Joyce, which he lost. Who Joe Joyce is a very good heavyweight. Um, then he beat someone or a couple of people. Then he went into Usyk and lost. But since then, this is why I think it's competitive. He's fought Big Baby Miller, who's an American. Jarrard Miller, he's called. He's like quite well known over here. He was supposed to fight AJ. He got popped for pretty much every drug, but he fought him, beat him, and then he fought Hrgovic. Now Hrgovic has always been like in Europe. He's always been the guy like that everyone spoke about. Like he's going to be the next Klitschko kind of guy. You know what I mean? But Dubois took it to him, beat him. Like this, AJ was expecting to fight Hrgovic. Everyone was thinking full blown conclusion. It's going to be AJ versus Hrgovic today for this title. But Dubois like battered him. So part of me thinks because Dubois recently beat two top five fighters and lost to two top five fighters, whereas AJ's last couple of fights have been quite lower down. Part of me thinks Dubois might have that like match fitness like over AJ.
So I was while you're talking, I'm listening, but I'm looking at Dubois' last fights, right? So like you said, Ergovic beat him. Jarrell Miller beat him. Then he lost to Usyk. It says here by KO.
Yeah.
So again, Usyk is he's a heavyweight, but is he a heavyweight? He's a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
And then who else did he lose to here? He lost to Joe Joyce. So also by KO.
Yeah.
So if AJ touches him, AJ has
Yeah,
power.
it's possible, but I think it's also possible the other way around. Like, I don't know if you've seen Dubois, but he's a very hard hitter. Like, the only reason Dubois got signed as like a 19-year-old was because he put AJ down in sparring, apparently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that because I've seen Dubois quit twice. He quit against Usyk to a jab, and he quit against Joe Joyce again to a jab. But the way how Joe Joyce and Usyk both are is they're very like they hit you a lot. You know what I mean? So they're not knocking you out with one shot, but they're doing a lot of a lot of damage over time. Whereas I don't think AJ could do that, but he can do it in one. You know what I mean? So all the damage they accumulated on that eye, he could do it with just one or two shots, whereas it took them 30. So it's really intriguing to me. I think it's a crossroads fight for either of them because AJ's 36, Dubois 26. So it could be a passing the torch moment. It could be, or it could be, look, you're not on this level. Let calm down.
You're not there yet.
Yeah. So I'm very intrigued by it, and I think the undercard as well, because I imagine it's going to be early for you guys. But if you can watch the undercard, I highly recommend it. there's some great fighters on that undercard. Like, they might not be the most well known, but they've all been in great fights recently. Like, you've got Tyler Denny versus Hamza Shiraz. I've just watched Hamza Shiraz go and batter someone, be an underdog, and just absolutely like crush all the odds out in Saudi Arabia. Like, and Denny is a good fighter as well. And then after that, you got Anthony Kakase versus Josh Morrison, right? That's for a featherweight title. Now those guys, bang, like Josh Morrison, he's been one of the fan favourites in England for years. Like, he's one of them where he just fights with his heart on his sleeve, just goes for it. But Anthony Kakase, I can't say his name, but he recently was an underdog that just gone and defied everyone's expectations and just battered his opponent. And then the one I'm intrigued the most about is Boatsy and Willie Hutchinson. Now again, it's the same story, right? Willie Hutchinson just beat a guy called Spider, who's supposed to lose against. Everyone thought he was going to lose. He dogged him. He absolutely just pressured him, made the guy wilt, and then battered him. Now he's in the same sort of fight. Everyone thinks Boatsy is going to win by miles, but I actually think if Hutchinson can get his game off early, it could be another long night. Like, so, yeah, there's a lot of good fights.
Yeah, it looks like it. You got the heavyweight titles on the line, the European middleweight championship, the IBO super featherweight, the light heavyweight championship. So you have a lot of stakes, a lot of money on the line for those fights. So those guys are going to come to put on a show, hopefully, in that big arena, with all those fans. How many fans can be in Wembley? Like 40-something thousand?
Make 40, double it.
Is it?
Yeah. Like, they broke the record with like 90 to 100 with Fury and White, but they're pushing for it to be like 120 now.
90,000 seats, and then you have standing room.
So they try to push the standing room to 120.
Wow.
Or as close to 120 as we can. And with it being all British, like, it's just going to pack out. Like,
yeah, that's insane. 100,000 people there to watch the fights. Imagine.
Bro, it's going to be like...
Could you imagine looking up?
It's going to be what people thought the Sphere was going to be. Like, what Wembley is going to generate is what I thought the Sphere was going to do. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because even when Fury fought, I think it was Chisora actually, not White. He fought either Chisora or White there a few years ago. Like, even that, it was just the atmosphere when two British guys fight at Wembley is just something else. Like, I don't understand why UFC don't do it. Like, why just say...
I think they're scared, man, that it might... What if it doesn't fill up?
But the thing is, you do it at our time, we'll fill it up. Like...
Yeah, but they want to do it on Vegas time.
Well, they did the last one.
Yeah.
That was annoying. Like, but when they did previously in Manchester, they packed it out, and like the streets were full. Like, even the streets were even full in the last one. So imagine what you're gonna do at Wembley when it's at 10 p.m. our time. Like, it's gonna be like UFC love talking about records. That's a record there that will actually be impressive. That's not just that pack thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The last event in the UK was Leon and Aspinall. So that was 17,000 people in Manchester.
Yeah, like 3 a.m. as well.
Yeah. I remember that people were bitching about having to go to work the next, or, like